Have you ever heard a sentence so small, yet so devastating, it stayed with you long after it was spoken? For Walter, it came on a quiet Sunday afternoon. He was 72, a retired history teacher from Ohio, a man of habit, polished shoes, crisp shirts, clean shave every morning. He took pride in his routine and keeping himself his home, his appearance neat and dignified. But that day, his 5-year-old granddaughter Lucy climbed onto his lap like she always did. Except this time she paused. She wrinkled her nose, leaned away slightly, and said, "Grandpa, you smell like my old pillow." Walter chuckled awkwardly. "Your old pillow?" he asked, half smiling. Lucy nodded, "The one I had to throw away because it got stinky." That night, Walter didn't laugh. He sat on the edge of his bed, replaying the moment again and again. He sniffed the collar of his shirt. Nothing, pressed his face to his pillow. Maybe something. Then the recliner, the throw blanket on the couch. And slowly, a sense of unease crept in. There was a scent, not foul, not dirty, but faint, lingering, unshakable. He had no idea where it was coming from. "I shower every morning," he whispered to himself. "I use good soap, I change my clothes. What else am I supposed to do?" And yet, that little girl had noticed something he hadn't. If you're over 60, maybe this sounds familiar. Maybe you've heard a quiet comment, not cruel but cutting. Maybe someone offered gum, opened a window, took a step back during a hug. You don't feel unclean. You take care of yourself. But something doesn't feel right. Here's what no one ever tells you: that smell, what some people unkindly call old people smell, is not a result of poor hygiene. It's not laziness. It's not carelessness. It's biology. As we age, our skin begins to change. A compound called Nonenal forms when fatty acids on the skin oxidize, something that happens more often after the age of 50. Nonenal has a very distinct scent. Musty, slightly greasy, a little like old books or laundry that sat too long in the machine. And the worst part, regular soap and water don't always remove it. You can bathe every day, wear clean clothes, and still carry that scent, especially if you're missing the 3 hidden areas where it loves to hide. And that's exactly what this video is about. Today, we'll return to Walter's story. But more importantly, we'll uncover the 3 most commonly forgotten areas of the body that quietly collect this scent day after day without you realizing it. These areas are easy to miss, but once you know where to find them and how to clean them properly, you'll be able to eliminate that stubborn scent completely. Not mask it, not cover it up, remove it. So if you've ever felt self-conscious about the way you smell, or if someone you love has quietly noticed something you haven't, stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll understand what causes the scent. You'll know where it hides, and most importantly, you'll know exactly what to do about it. Let's begin. Let's take a closer look now, not just at the story, but at what's really happening inside Walter's body, and maybe inside yours too. Have you ever noticed a particular scent that seems to settle in your clothes, your sheets, or even your favorite chair, no matter how often you wash them? It's not overpowering, just persistent, familiar, maybe even a little embarrassing. Well, there's a reason for it. And it starts with a word you've probably never heard before: Nonenal. Back in 2001, researchers published a study in the Journal of Investigative Dermatology that changed the way we understand aging skin. They discovered that as we grow older, our bodies start producing a compound called 2-nonenal, or simply nonenal. This compound forms when unsaturated fatty acids in our skin begin to oxidize. It's a natural process, much like how apples brown or metal rusts. But in humans, this oxidation doesn't change our color. It changes our scent. Nonenal has a distinct odor. People often describe it as musty, a little sour, like old books or damp fabric left in the closet too long. And here's the kicker: it doesn't go away easily. It clings, not just to your skin, but to your clothing, bedding, furniture, and even your hair. Now, you might be wondering, why does this happen after a certain age? The answer lies in how your body changes with time. After we turn 50, our natural antioxidant levels, things like vitamin E and coenzyme Q10, begin to drop. These antioxidants play a critical role in neutralizing the oxidation process on our skin. So when they're low, oxidation speeds up, and that means more nonenal. At the same time, our sweat glands slow down. That might sound like a good thing. Less sweat, less smell, right? Not quite sweat actually helps wash away waste and bacteria from the skin's surface. So when there's less of it, odors tend to linger longer, and then there's the matter of dry skin. Aging skin naturally becomes drier and thinner. It doesn't shed dead cells as quickly, it holds on to oils longer. And when those oils oxidize, you guessed it, Nonenal. So it's not your fault, it's not poor hygiene, it's biology. But here's where things get really interesting. Most people bathe regularly, they use soaps, body washes, even scented products to feel fresh. Yet the scent remains. Why? Because most people, especially those over 60, are missing the real target. They're washing the visible parts, the arms, legs, face, maybe the underarms. But they're forgetting the hidden zones, the places where non-enal settles most stubbornly, places that are often overlooked, simply because we weren't taught to focus on them, or maybe because no one ever mentioned they needed extra care. These are habits formed over a lifetime. And for many older adults, it's hard to break the mindset of "I've always done it this way." But here's the truth. The routine that worked for your skin at 30 or 40 doesn't always work at 70. And I want to pause here to share something powerful, a quote from Dr. Ann Chang, a dermatologist at Stanford University who has studied aging skin for decades. She says, "Nonenal is not removed by regular soap. It's like garlic on your hands. You don't just rinse it off. You need something specific to break it down." Isn't that eye-opening? So ask yourself, have I been washing the same way I always have without thinking about what's changed in my skin? Have I noticed a scent I can't quite place even after bathing? And most importantly, am I willing to try something different, something better? Because knowledge is power. And once you understand what's really happening on your skin, you can take action, not with expensive treatments or harsh chemicals, but with smart, simple steps that make all the difference. Coming up next, we're going to reveal the first of the 3 forgotten zones where non-enal hides and show you exactly how to clean it gently, safely, and effectively. It might surprise you. In fact, it's a place many people haven't washed properly in years. Ready to find out where it is? Let's go there next. Let's now go to the very center of the body, a place so small, so seemingly insignificant that most of us go years, sometimes decades, without ever giving it a second thought. I'm talking about the navel, yes, your belly button. Now I know what you might be thinking. The belly button. Really? But stay with me because what I'm about to share may surprise you. You see, the navel isn't just a scar from birth. It's a natural little hollow, a soft cave tucked quietly into the middle of your abdomen. And for most people, especially as we age, it becomes a forgotten space. Think about it. When was the last time you actually cleaned inside your navel, not splashing water over it in the shower, but truly cleaning it with care and attention? The truth is, the belly button is a perfect storm for odor to develop. It's warm. It's dark. It's enclosed. It doesn't get much airflow. And it's the exact place where sweat, dead skin cells, fabric lint, and natural oils like sebum all collect day after day, year after year. Over time, these things mix and settle deep into the folds of the skin. And here's the science to back it up. A study cited by Harvard Health Publishing in 2022 found that the average human navel can host over 67 different types of bacteria. 67. Now, not all bacteria are bad. But in a closed, unwashed space like the belly button, even the friendliest organisms can start producing unfriendly odors. And for Walter, the man whose story we began with, it took a moment of quiet embarrassment to discover this for himself. He had recently bought a new shirt, light cotton, comfortable, perfect for spring. But after a few hours of wearing it, he noticed something odd, a faint, sour scent he hadn't smelled before. At first, he assumed it was sweat. Maybe from his underarms or from sitting too long in the sun, but even after changing the scent, followed him. It wasn't until his wife gently suggested, "Maybe it's your belly button," that the light bulb clicked. He paused, blinked, then laughed a little. Not because it was funny, but because it was true. He realized he hadn't properly cleaned his navel in years, maybe decades. That night, he dipped a cotton swab into warm water, added a drop of mild soap, and gently wiped around the inside of his navel. The swab came out dark. Surprising, even a little shocking. He kept at it every 2 or 3 days, nothing harsh, just gentle circular cleaning, followed by drying with a soft towel, and by the end of the week, the smell that had clung to his shirt, his skin, his confidence, was gone. Now, before you reach for that cotton swab yourself, let's walk through exactly how to do this the safe and effective way, because like any part of the body, the belly button deserves gentle care. Here's what dermatologists recommend. Use a clean cotton swab dipped in warm water. Add a tiny bit of mild, unscented soap, something gentle on the skin. Carefully wipe the inside of your navel in small circular motions. Don't poke or push hard, especially if your belly button is deep. Afterward, rinse the area gently with a damp washcloth and then pat it dry with a soft towel. Moisture trapped inside the navel can undo all your efforts. Do this once or twice a week. No need to overdo it. But make it a part of your routine, like brushing your teeth or clipping your nails. A small habit that brings big rewards. Because here's what most people forget. Our skin isn't just a protective layer. It's a living, breathing organ. And every part of it, even the smallest folds, plays a role in how we look, how we feel, and yes, how we smell. So let me ask you, when was the last time you cleaned your navel? Could it be the missing piece in your hygiene routine, the one place that's quietly been holding on to a scent you've tried so hard to eliminate? Try it tonight. Take a few extra moments of care, not out of shame, but out of respect for your body, for your comfort, for your presence. Coming up next, we'll move to another surprising zone. It's just behind your ears, easy to miss. Yet rich with oil-producing glands that become more active as we age. It might sound simple, but this little spot could be doing more to influence how you're perceived than you ever realized. Let's go there, next. As we move from the center of the body to one of its smallest corners. Let's take a moment to reflect on something simple but powerful. Not everything that causes discomfort in life is loud. Sometimes it's the quiet things, the subtle ones that linger the longest. And when it comes to body odor, one of the most commonly overlooked zones is also one of the smallest. It sits just a few inches from your face, yet almost no one remembers to clean it. I'm talking about the area behind your ears. Now, before you reach up and feel the skin back, wait. Let's understand why this little spot matters more than it seems. Behind the ears, the skin is full of sebaceous glands, the same kind of glands found on your scalp and face. These glands produce sebum, an oily substance that protects your skin and keeps it moisturized. But as we age, the composition of that oil changes. It becomes heavier, and our skin doesn't shed cells as efficiently as it used to. When sebum mixes with dead skin, sweat, and dust from the environment, it creates a perfect place for bacteria to grow and, yes, for odor to form. It doesn't always smell strong. In fact, most people don't notice it on themselves, but those closest to you might, especially children whose noses are remarkably sensitive to smell. Just ask Rose. She's 74, a former librarian, elegant, meticulous, and deeply proud of how she presents herself. Rose wore a touch of rosewater perfume every day. She ironed her slacks. She even color-coded her wardrobe. But one day, while hugging her teenage granddaughter, she heard a phrase she would never forget. "Grandma, you kind of smell like the inside of an old cabinet." Rose laughed nervously at first, but when it happened again the next week, she began to wonder. She checked her clothes, washed her bedding, switched perfumes. Still, the comment returned. It wasn't until she looked in the mirror one morning and noticed a faint, oily shine just behind her ears, right where the arms of her glasses touched, that the mystery began to unravel. She realized she had been washing her face, her neck, even her scalp. But never once, not in decades, had she intentionally cleaned behind her ears. And from that moment on, everything changed. Here's what Rose learned, and what I hope you'll take to heart as well. To properly clean behind your ears, here's what to do. Start by wetting a clean washcloth with warm water. Add just a drop of mild, fragrance-free facial cleanser, something gentle and non-drying. Gently wipe behind each ear, including the crease where your ear meets your skull. If you wear glasses, pay special attention to that contact point. The heat and pressure from the frames can cause sweat and oils to build up even faster. After cleaning, pat the area dry with a soft towel. Don't rub or scrub. The skin back there is delicate. And here's a tip from Rose herself. Keep a small face towel near your bathroom sink. Every morning after brushing your teeth, do a quick behind-the-ear check. It takes 10 seconds but can make a world of difference. Now you might be asking, does this really matter that much? Let me share a thought from Dr. Thomas Hauser, a geriatric medicine specialist who's worked with older adults for more than 30 years. As we age, we have to think about the places where skin meets pressure. Glasses, jewelry, masks. These are what I call connection points, where sweat oil and bacteria quietly settle. Cleaning them regularly isn't just hygiene. It's dignity. That word, dignity, resonates, doesn't it? It's not about being flawless. It's not about smelling like a garden. It's about knowing that your presence is clean, fresh, and cared for. that when someone leans in to hug you, all they feel is warmth, not hesitation. So here's a gentle question for you. When was the last time you cleaned behind your ears on purpose, with intention? Tonight, maybe give it a try. You don't need fancy products, just warm water, a soft cloth, and a moment of care. It might seem small, but so many things that build our confidence start small. And tomorrow morning, when you put on your glasses or tuck your hair behind your ears, you'll know that space is yours, and it's cared for. Next, we're heading down to the ground, literally. Because one of the most powerful sources of body odor, it lives under every step you take. It's time to talk about your feet and why. What happens between your toes could be affecting how the whole world smells you. Let's go there next. Let's take one more step downward this time. Because while we've talked about the center of the body and the space behind the ears, there's one final area that quietly carries us through life, and often carries odor with it too. I'm talking about your feet. Now, you might not think of your feet as the source of persistent body odor. After all, you wash them, right? Maybe even soak them now and then. But let me ask you something. When was the last time you really cleaned? I mean thoroughly cleaned between your toes. Because here's the thing, your feet are among the hardest working and most neglected parts of your body when it comes to hygiene. Each foot contains more than 125,000 sweat glands. That's over 250,000 sweat glands combined, and they don't just sit quietly. They produce half a pint of sweat per day, even when you're not aware of it. Now imagine what happens when that moisture gets trapped inside socks, pressed into tight shoes combined with dead skin cells and warmth, and left in darkness all day long. You create what doctors call the triple threat: high heat, high humidity, high bacteria. This becomes the perfect breeding ground for odor, especially between the toes where airflow is limited and skin often stays damp long after the rest of the body is dry. That's exactly what happened to Harold. He's 80 now, a retired truck driver who still takes long morning walks around his neighborhood in Texas. Every evening, he'd wash his feet in warm water just like he always had, but the smell never seemed to leave, not from his shoes, his slippers, even the carpet where he liked to sit. At first, he blamed the weather. Maybe it was just hot, or his socks, but the odor stayed. It wasn't until a routine doctor's visit that he learned the truth. He wasn't drying between his toes. That small step, skipped for years, was all it took for moisture and yeast to build up. His doctor diagnosed him with a mild fungal infection. Nothing serious, but just enough to cause the scent and some skin irritation. It was a wake-up call, but also a fixable one. So let's talk about how to care for your feet the right way, especially as we age and our skin becomes thinner, more sensitive, and slower to recover. Start in the shower or bath. Don't just let water run over your feet. That's not enough. Take a soft brush or a clean washcloth. Apply a mild, unscented soap and gently scrub around your feet. Pay special attention to the underside of the toes and between the toes themselves. This is where odor-causing bacteria and fungi love to hide. Once you are out of the shower, here's the most important part. Dry them completely, not just a quick rub. Take a soft towel and gently pat between every toe. Moisture trapped, there is like a welcome sign for bacteria. Then consider using a small amount of fragrance-free absorbent powder. You can use medical-grade baking soda or a foot powder designed to prevent moisture. Sprinkle lightly, don't cake it on. Finally, wear breathable cotton socks and change them every day. If you sweat more than usual, change them more than once and give your shoes a chance to air out, especially if you wear the same pair often. Think of this like brushing your teeth. It's not about seeing dirt. It's about preventing what you don't see. In fact, Mayo Clinic offers this exact advice. Treat foot care like dental care daily. Even when things look fine, prevention is quiet but powerful. So let me ask you, have your feet been a silent source of odor that you've overlooked? If you've ever noticed a faint sour scent after removing your shoes, or if you've hesitated to kick your feet up around others, this might be your missing piece. Try this tonight. Take 5 extra minutes. Clean, dry, and care for your feet. Not just for the sake of others, but for your own comfort and peace of mind, because every step you take deserves to be fresh, confident, and supported by healthy skins. And now that we've walked through all 3 forgotten zones, the navel behind the ears and your feet, you're armed with the knowledge to reclaim your freshness, your comfort, and your presence. Coming up next, we'll wrap up this journey with a few final thoughts on confidence, dignity, and what it really means to age with grace without compromise. Let's take that final step together. And so let's return for just a moment to Walter. It's been a few weeks since that quiet Sunday afternoon when Lucy wrinkled her nose and told him he smelled like her old pillow. At the time, it stung more than he expected, but instead of brushing it off or retreating inward, Walter chose something different. He chose curiosity. He chose care. He chose change. He started paying closer attention to the little things, the space behind his ears, the depth of his navel, the quiet creases between his toes. It didn't take long, just a few minutes each day, but what he gained was far more than cleanliness. He gained his confidence back. Now Lucy runs into his arms without hesitation. Walter chats with neighbors again. He even started going to the community center on Thursdays just to talk to, laugh to be seen, and maybe to feel like himself again. Because here's what Walter realized, and what I hope you'll carry with you. Body odor doesn't define who you are, but letting go of it can help you return to who you've always been. Comfortable, present, free. Today, we talked about something many people are too shy to mention, but almost everyone wonders about at some point. We uncovered the science behind Nonenal, the natural compound that develops on our skin as we age. We explored 3 quiet corners of the body, the navel behind the ears and between the toes, and how just a bit of attention can make a world of difference. And more importantly, we were reminded that you are not alone in this. These changes are normal, natural, but that doesn't mean they're untouchable. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, and now you have the choice. So tonight, as you prepare for bed, I invite you to pause for just a moment. Run a warm cloth behind your ears. Give your feet a little more care. Check that one place you always skip in the shower. Not because you're ashamed, but because you deserve to feel fresh. You deserve to feel proud. You deserve to walk through this next chapter with your head held high and your presence clean and confident. And if this video gave you something, an insight, a solution, or maybe just the feeling that someone understands, please consider giving it a like. It tells the platform that this message matters. Share it with someone you love, because sometimes the people who need this most are the ones who won't ask. Subscribe to Golden Wise Elders and tap the bell so you don't miss the next conversation we'll share together. And most importantly, leave a comment below. Tell me, what did you learn today? Which of the 3 zones surprised you most? Or maybe, which one will you clean tonight? Let's keep this space honest, open, respectful. Because aging isn't about fading away, it's about showing up fully, freely. And yes, freshly. Thank you for being here with me. I'll see you in the next one.